What's up, guys? Welcome to Keeping It Real with Miriam Usman. I missed you, and I know you do miss me. But before we go down to any conversation, let me also say my Happy New Year to you because this is the first for the year 2026. And I brought this particular one your way because, my darling, this is what you need to get your year started. New Year is not just about January 1st. Matter of fact, you will have the whole of January, you have February, maybe March to set your pace for the year and focus, which is the conversation we're bringing to you. You know, on this podcast, we bring you real life issues unfiltered as it centers around career, marriage, finances, every single thing that has to do with our individual activities as human. Today, I brought you someone who has always supported the Miriam Usman brand, an expert in his own field, one that if you give your next 20-30 minutes of your time, I promise you, you're not going to miss any of it. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Emmanuel Abayomi. Dr. Emmanuel Abayomi is a medical expert. I'm going to let him do his introduction because there's always a misconception about the line of the medical practice he's into. But let me not do too much talking. Doctor, it is so good to have you here with me on this particular episode. And let me use this opportunity to say thank you for every single time. There's no time I call that you don't answer. You're just always there to support the brand. I'm really grateful. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure, Miriam. Great job you're doing. I'm always proud of you.
Thank you.
You're certainly going places. Just keep up the good work you're doing.
Thank you. You know, that's one thing I also like about you. You always, I don't know, nobody meets you and just, you just find a way of, it's either you're complimenting the person's hair, the clothes, or you just have something to talk about the person's personality. Is it something you decided to, you tell yourself that, you know what, I must add value to whoever I see each day, each time I see the person?
Oh, well, thank you for your kind words, Miriam. About your question, I think that in life, ordinarily, there is too much negativity. There is so much of what we call PhD, pull him down syndrome. A lot of people get very uncomfortable when they see their peers or their superiors or even people beneath them somewhat making effort to rise and they want to pull them down. I have chosen to be different. No, my candle doesn't shine brighter by putting out others' candle. No, we all can shine brighter and brighter and make the world a brighter, safer, and a more beautiful place to be. So I have decided to contribute in my own little way, whatever I can, to make sure people around me, people I meet, they keep getting better. And that's my choice. And I'm happy with it. Whoever is not happy with it, please come learn from me so you can get better.
I want to learn from you, to be honest. I want to learn from you because I feel like most of the time, I'm so comfortable with accepting compliment. There was a time I was telling myself, I'm so comfortable in accepting compliments, but I'm not sure the percentage of me giving out compliments to other people, I'm not sure is the same as the one I receive. And I think it's something I need to work on for this new year. Yeah. You know, the way people make me feel better, I want to be able to make people feel better that way. And the littlest thing really counts.
Absolutely.
You know, if it's a woman especially, you just tell them from nowhere that they look good, it sticks.
Yeah, for someone like Miriam, I'm not sure it's difficult for anyone to say you look good because you actually do look good. And you are.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome.
You are a psychiatrist. One that is actually not too common. To be honest, aside you, I'm not sure I've met any psychiatrists. Some of them are not like open to even telling people. They just prefer you call them doctor because there's this psychiatrist. How does that make you feel? You know, this is a society where even mad people don't want to agree that they are mad. They still see themselves as normal. But the name to being a psychiatrist doctor, is it something, you wish in recent time people just change the notion about it?
Yeah. Well, I've learned to come to love myself and be comfortable in my own skin, and by whatever appellation or profession I have come to identify with. So I have no problem We've been identified.
Was that what you
introduced.
went to school to study at first?
Yes, absolutely. To become a psychiatrist, first you must go to school, medical school, become a doctor. I mean, a doctor. And afterwards, go for another 6-7 years of postgraduate specialization training before you become a psychiatrist.
You do your first 6-7 years of
In
medical school.
Yes.
And then you add
Absolutely.
additional 6 to 7 years.
You think it's for nothing this man is born? Now book plenty here.
Oh my God, this is a discovery.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yes.
that is a whole lot.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes maybe things like this are what discourages people from going further into, the study of this particular branch of medicine.
Partly so, and then partly the stigma associated with
Yeah.
it, and partly the complexities and difficulties that come with the job. Yeah. But if this is something you're passionate about, this is something you feel you're custom made for, then you wouldn't have any difficulty fitting into it perfectly, doing excellently well in it, and having fun while at it.
Doctor, how is the practice of this part of medical practice? How is it like in Nigeria? Not a lot of people want to see. In fact, I feel like a therapist is there, then a psychiatrist is also a different kind of person.
Absolutely.
And I feel like a therapist is even more flexible than a psychiatrist, But Nigerians still do not want to associate themselves with therapy, talk more of psychiatrists. So let's talk about your practice in Nigeria. How has it been like?
Oh yeah.
Do you have customers? Do you have, okay, not customers now. Do you have clients?
I have patients. So let's use the proper word.
Yeah.
Now they can choose to identify as clients, customers, whatever. They are still patients who have a medical health problem and need help, and I'm willing to offer them. Well, I understand the need to destigmatize the stereotypes surrounding mental health and psychiatry. That's necessary. But beyond that, there are genuine people, real people with real problems and real struggles that don't understand stigma, struggles that need answers, that need help.
They need help.
And I am willing, I am able, I have been trained to provide that help. And people who need that help, who find that they can get that help in a psychiatrist, a lot of times when the help is effective and accessible, they really do not mind the stigma. They reach out and they get the help.
Those people, do they need to be roving, do they need to be roving, before they get help? Or it's the slightest signs that require someone seeing a psychiatrist? I mean, we're in January and there's been a lot of conversation. In fact, in this time that we are, a lot of people are, going back to the drawing board. It's a new year. It's a new me. I need to change my ways. I need to attain certain goals. So this strategizing about life goals, which comes in career, marriage, and every single thing, it also comes with the pressure.
Absolutely.
And the pressure sometimes, it can be so hurting that you might not even know that you are losing it. So for those patients of yours, are they like people who have, gone off the rail, or there are also people who wear fine clothes, do makeup, move up and down like nothing is going on, but they still need to check the psychiatrist?
Absolutely, Miriam. Yes, you're right. And I think it's good to address this misconception and a bit of incomplete information surrounding psychiatry and mental health. You see, psychiatry covers a wide range of mental health conditions, right? Such that you don't necessarily have to wait until you have a psychological breakdown needing hospitalization before you call a psychiatrist. As a matter of fact, you need psychiatrists to help you enjoy your life, enjoy your marriage, enjoy your job, enjoy your life, live in leisure.
How?
Yeah, we call a group of psychiatrists, there's a subspecialty in psychiatry called lifestyle psychiatry. This is for people who do not have a mental health problem at the moment, but just want to enjoy optimal mental health. How do I mean? They don't seem to enjoy their sleep, and they want to enjoy their sleep at a more optimal level. You need a psychiatrist to help you do that. People who their feeding habits are not excellent, they are not optimal, a psychiatrist can help you develop healthy feeding habits. People have some very fun relationships with food. I give you a good example. A young lady who's doing well at work, out of the blue, just feels she's obese. All right, and you check her BMI, it's not obese. BMI is body mass index. It's not obese, it's not unhealthy. But she just believes, look, I don't fit into this image of a CEO. A psychiatrist can help her find meaning, find purpose, find balance. We call that lifestyle psychiatry. She can go on, do her work, live her life, enjoy her meals. Psychiatrists help people do that. Even physical exercise. Yes.
Wow.
You need psychiatry to help you do
I
that.
think
Now, excelling in your chosen career, in your chosen profession, lifestyle psychiatry helps you do
Isn't that a therapist?
Great question. There is more to psychiatry than prescribing medications. For people who hear voices, people who are vagrants, no, there is also psychotherapy as a component of psychiatry.
Do you think a lot of Nigerians are having this problem and they are not admitting to having problems like you've identified? The lifestyle psychiatrist you mentioned now, I think it's, some of us don't see it as a problem. Some of us don't see it as, maybe because I don't have the money or I don't have the exposure, I don't, they don't see it as a problem that requires a solution.
Absolutely, and there is a reason. There are reasons why that is so. I'll just share one of them with you. One of the leading psychologists, in the field of human psychology, humanistic psychology, we call it actually, Abraham Maslow, we came up with a theory of motives and drives and the hierarchy of needs. Now, in a part of the world like Nigeria, a developing third world country, at the very bottom, people are grappling with survival needs, food, water, sexual release, shelter.
Yeah.
Now, it's pretty very difficult for a man who's not had breakfast to begin to think about sleeping optimally. A man who does not have a roof over his head, it's difficult for him to want to contemplate such. Now, a man who has not even had a meal, how do you want to talk to him about maintaining a healthy weight? The man is hungry, he wants food first. The man wants a roof over his head. You are telling him about career advancement, optimizing his activities, enjoying a healthy work relationship with his colleagues at work. He's not going to listen. Yorubas have a saying, the way it's put in Yoruba, it means you cannot be hungry and another word will enter. So in parts of the world, or even here in Nigeria, amongst the upper middle social class and the upper class, people who have their basic needs met at the bottom of the hierarchy, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, they begin to think of self-belonging needs, psychological needs, we'll call that. So psychiatrists come in at that level. So when a lot of Nigerians begin to find their needs met, they begin to enjoy a lot of nationwide communal prosperity, they will become more aware. These needs are there. They are just unable to, okay, they don't come cheap, for example. They cost money. Now, if people don't have money for this, what do? Or they have money for this, but they are pressed for choice, or they are pressed for options. They have to pay fees for their children. They have to buy food, shelter, clothing.
Do you think these needs affect productivity?
Absolutely.
How?
Absolutely. There is a relationship between your mental health, mental well-being, job satisfaction, and your optimal productivity. Let's bring it in practical, simple terms. A man who does not have a roof over his head, who's beaten by the rain all night, wakes up in the morning, if he manages to sleep at all, sleep deprived, the brain has not had time to rest or recuperate. You expect him to get to work on iron clothes and perform optimally, or he gets called midday during his work that his children have been sent out of school for school fees. How do you expect him to concentrate? Productivity drops. Or a man who does not have money to transport himself to work, how is he going to show up? Most likely he will tell you he has diarrhea. Or a man who is not eating and is at work, he can't give you his optimal productivity. The brain is starved of glucose, so productivity drops. And then they experience what we call presenteeism, which is worse than absenteeism. If someone doesn't show up at work, His colleagues at work agree he's not at work. So they can agree to share his responsibilities and take it up amongst
But you could be
themselves.
present and absent.
That's what. So they think you're around, but you're not around. Productivity goes down at the end of the day.
So the conversation around mental health in the last 5, 6 years, 10 years has risen to some percentage than it was before now. You know, and what's even funny is it's common among young people. You see people as young as 20, 25, they tell you about mental health. And when you tell the older generation about the trouble with mental health, they just feel like it's because you are body. It's because you are Gen Z. And Gen Zs are out there trying to tell you that this is a real life issue. Like, it's very serious. People break down every day because of mental issue, but there are also some people who do not understand it. And this also happen in workplaces. In a workplace where either the boss or the HR is like the older generation, and this young employee is having this breakdown. You know, they don't see it as a problem. Instead, they see it as a nonchalant behavior of the younger generation. And it's causing a lot of issues, even at the workplace. Let's not even bring it to the home. Let's not bring it to church. Let's not bring it to every single aspect of our everyday life, which is a problem for us. This is 2026. And if we have to get it right, this is the time we need to start having conversations like this. How can we better understand ourselves in this mental health thing? Are the Gen Zs overstretching it, or the older generations just do not really understand this thing?
Oh, well, that's a bit tricky, Miriam. A bit tricky because I can imagine young people are listening to these as well as older people. And here is the reality. The stats don't lie. As a matter of fact, amongst adolescents, amongst young people, for every 5 young persons you see, one of them has a mental health struggle. That's what the statistics say.
So what causes it?
Oh yeah, quite a number of things.
I mean, you're young. What's the pressure all about?
Yeah, quite a number of things may be responsible. And a few more details about the stats, and I'll come to answer your earlier question. Research has shown that all mental health struggles in the general adult population, they begin before the age of 14 years. So those teenagers may not be exaggerating after all. And it gets more interesting. 75% of mental health conditions in the general population begin before the age of 24 years. So young people have real mental health struggles. What may be responsible for this? And I just shared this so that young people can feel validated. Your struggles are real and genuine. And the older generation, the young people in your rooms, in your workplaces, in your organizations are not faking it. They have genuine, real mental health struggles and they need help. The attitude they are putting up may well be cry for help and not just they are being funny or being shifty at work. What may be responsible for this? The exact reason why there is a documented increase in mental health prevalence amongst your people, we don't know the exact reason, but a few theories have been put forward. One of them is the crumbling societal safety nets.
What does that mean?
That we have, the communal lifestyle, the strong social family support. If I ask you now, if you're not a Gen Z perhaps, growing up for you, you were not holed up in a room, a 5-bedroom duplex, all alone by yourself and 1 or 2 siblings.
No.
You had siblings. There was society, there was network. Perhaps there was an uncle and aunt. There were neighbors you bonded with.
Oh, there were so many neighbors.
That contributed, that community created connections, created networks in your brain that helped develop resilience in your brain. Young people do not have such luxuries anymore. They grow up alone and lonely. So there are little networks in their brain for brain network, for the protective effect that community develops. You may have experienced this before when times were hard and you were all alone by yourself. Remember how difficult it was. Compared with when times were hard and you had community, you had people around. They could give you support. That's protected to your mental health. So the crumbling societal safety net, the crumbling societal communal life here in Nigeria may be contributing to it. The second is the seeming democratization and easy access to information, especially negative information from across the world, has some deleterious, harmful effects on brain networks, on the brain support system. I take you back to when you were younger, perhaps, when you were 10, 15. It was perhaps difficult for you to know what was happening in Ukraine then. Even if there was war in Ukraine, who would give you the videos? You wouldn't know until maybe 9 p.m. when you watch the network news. But today, on the spot, on the go, as a disaster is happening on a $10 bridge in Lagos or somewhere in Gaza, Israel, a teenager who has access to a smartphone is getting live and direct feeds. Information overload on the brain can weaken the brain support network systems and make them more vulnerable to mental health challenges. And of course, the world has become a lot more secure with insecurity around. And one more reason, or let me have two more reasons that can explain this, is diet.
Diet, food, mental health.
Absolutely. Research has identified a very strong connection between the gut and the brain. We call it the gut-brain axis. What you eat affects your mental health. Then growing up, healthy food was readily available from the farms and the neighborhoods and the garden. You had access to fresh vegetables. I remember as a little boy walking to school, stop by some mango tree, climb mango, eat fresh fruits straight from the farm, climb pawpaw trees, eat pawpaw. Today, that's very difficult to come by. What we have access to instead is processed food, highly processed food that are no longer alive, making available pretty very little nutrients that are necessary for brain growth and brain development. And finally, physical activity.
Activities.
One more thing is physical activity. All you need is take your mind back to when you were in primary school. Like me, I walked to primary school, walking for like some 10, 15 minutes from my house to primary school. And schools then were very, very large expanse of land where you could run and walk. Try that today. Walk into the average primary school today. It's a story building or a duplex. Little room for physical activity. When you got back home, you had access to play. The whole neighborhood was your playing field. But today, what do? You're given a smartphone or an iPad to watch cartoons and you play. There is reduced physical activity, and research has shown physical activity not only promotes physical health and well-being, not only protects your heart, protects
the brain.
Helps your brain stay resilient so you can maintain optimal mental health. And add a little extra to this sleep. As a little girl and as little children those days, when it's bedtime, it is bedtime. You go to sleep.
So guilty of this.
You go to sleep. You go to sleep. When it was bedtime, then you go to sleep. TVs are closed by 9 p.m. But now there's not only TV 24/7. You have your smartphone with you. People wake up at 1 a.m. when they should be sleeping because they want to watch a football match. They want to watch a reality show somewhere, or they want to watch a YouTube video.
Through Instagram.
Scroll through Instagram, TikTok. That depletes your sleep time, your rest time. And it is when you sleep, your brain has the room, the opportunity to rest.
Doctor, how bad is how bad can this mental health thing go for an individual? You've been able to, mention the depriving of sleep, the dieting, all of these things. But what's that point that everybody should avoid, because of the possibilities of something like this leading to it?
Oh, yes. I would say that, there are no hard and fast rules. It's not cast in stone that you must sleep for certain hours a night. But when you notice three things. Number one, your productivity at work is dropping. Then be on the lookout. If your sleep is such that it's affecting your productivity at work, the things you do, then be on the lookout. Something is wrong somewhere. Second is your relationships with your family members, your loved ones, your friends. If that is going down, they are beginning to complain, then be on the lookout. Your mental health is beginning to suffer without your knowledge. And the third is your leisure. time for leisure, time for play, hobbies and extracurricular activities. When this is going down, time to raise alarm and be on the lookout. As a matter of fact, what I just shared with you on a lighter note is in the World Health Organization, the WHO, they have a system, the ICD we call the International Classification of Diseases. For the ICD-10, where they classified mental health, especially in chapter 6, there's a section of it that says when people have disabilities in their personal lives, in their occupational lives, in their family relationships, and in the enjoyment of leisure, then be on the lookout. A mental illness is likely hiding somewhere.
Doctor, this breakdown, all this conversation you are giving us, it's like exposing the things we see as normal.
Absolutely.
And as an African, there's just this part of me that is still telling me, okay, you're an African girl, you're African, you are born to have this toughness in you to stand whatever pressure, whatever thing. And I feel like that's another barrier that we suffer in this part of the world. We just see it as a normal thing. So if anyone is able to surpass that part of them, I think the problem is half solved, and then take it up from where you stopped.
Yeah, let me address this from your perspective as an African. And it's a good perspective you just shared. Africans should be tough and hard, not
especially being in Nigeria.
Yeah, and here is where it gets really very interesting. Suppose I have a bottle, a Coke bottle, proper Coke bottle, not a plastic bottle in my hands. I take it up here and I drop it. What's going to happen?
It falls.
And what happens to the bottle? It shatters.
Yeah.
You see that bottle is fragile, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, naturally, expectedly, the opposite of that is let me have a stone in my hands. If I bring a stone up here and I drop it, what happens? It drops to the ground. It doesn't shatter.
Yeah.
It's strong. It's hard. Kakaraka, like an African, they say.
Yeah.
But should the stone really be down there? How about I bring a football? The football is here, not as hard as the stone, but if I drop a football, what happens? It touches the ground and bounces up.
Yeah.
That's what we call mental health. That's what we encourage. When life hits hard at you, you bounce back. The African, tough, hard African, pretends to be strong man, and one day just packs up.
Yeah.
Dead. Broken. Suffers a mental health breakdown.
Do older people have mental health issues as well?
Yes, Miriam. A simple way I describe this is mental illness from the cradle to the grave. From the time of birth, right from the labor room, as we bring new babies,
they're already suffering it.
They can have mental health struggles. And just before they are lowered into the grave, just before they breathe their last breath, they are also at risk of mental health struggles across the lifespan. But that's not all bad news, doom and gloom. There are measures we can take to reduce the risk of coming up with mental health struggles, so that you can live an amazing life and grow up remaining as beautiful as you have, Miriam, until you're 90, 100, without suffering from mental health struggles.
Does peer pressure or pressure as a whole add to or contribute to increasing mental health? I'll tell you something in recent time. There's a video of a girl that went viral, and she was crying. She said she was born in 1997. That's like 29 years old. And then she showed us video footage of her room and said, look at me, 29 years old, I have nothing to show, right? And this is like the story of a huge percentage of a young Nigerian, either 20, from 25, 29, 30.
Yeah.
There's this pressure, especially when you are also single.
Yeah.
You're facing that pressure for marriage, you're facing the pressure for a good job, the economy is not smiling. Because you have not made it does not mean the bills will not come. The pressure as well of having children. So for the singles is even worse, because there's the pressure to get married, there's the pressure to marry right, there's the pressure to give birth to children, there's the pressure to have more children if you stop at a particular age, there's the pressure to look after these children, to fend for the family, there's the pressure to look out. So the pressure continues every single time. This is January, and everybody are on that pressure right now. Even business owners, they want to upscale their businesses. Organizations want to do better. and even in the personal life now,
Yeah.
you want to be able to do some of the things you did not do in 2025, you
Yeah.
could not do in 2024, in the years before.
Yeah.
The pressure is everywhere,
Yeah.
in churches, in mosques, every single places, and somehow this all settles here.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get hold of it, before you know, it's June.
Mm-hmm.
Before you know, it's December.
Yeah.
And you're back at it again. Doctor, these are real life issues.
Absolutely.
A lot of us have carried over goals from the previous year because
Yeah.
that's how it has been happening.
Yeah.
And somehow the residues of these things are circling in your head every single time. The moment you think about it and thinking of how to solve it, your head is turning. You know?
Yeah.
How can we fix this thing in 2026? People need help. Some have been able to vocalize it. Some say, Doctor, have you been to this WhatsApp status of some people? They post memes sometimes.
Yeah.
They post jokes. They post videos. But these are reflections of the things that goes on in the head
Yeah.
and in the heart. I see some people's WhatsApp status and stories. Deep inside me, I just know this person needs help.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about the memes right now.
True.
It's a part of them that is asking for help,
Absolutely.
but they're not paying attention to.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
All right. Pressure. Yeah. Great question you asked, Miriam, especially for. I wish I was single.
How would you
So I could
wish you were single?
so I could say,
You understand?
yeah. But well, I was single at some point,
Yeah.
and that's pressure. That pressure is real. It's genuine.
It's real.
And it's quite understandable.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say, and let me keep it simple and real
Yeah.
with respect to pressures. I'll keep it to 3 C's. Letter C, 3 C's to helping you cope with pressure. Before I share the 3 C's, let me state that you need a bit of pressure to actually survive and thrive in this world.
No.
A bit of
Pressure is
pressure.
healthy.
Yeah, a bit of pressure is healthy. You know, if nobody puts you under pressure, believe me, you wouldn't go to school. You wouldn't. If there's no pressure at all, why should you go to school? My dad has money. I'm on a salary for the rest of my life, so you wouldn't go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah, if nobody puts you under pressure, if you're not under pressure to get married, some people will never get married at all. If you're not under pressure to have children, why should I have children?
Yeah.
So a bit of pressure is necessary. It is motivating, but it becomes a problem when the pressure no longer motivates you, but demotivates you, paralyzes you, burdens you, and keeps you stuck in a loop. That's pressure unhealthy. Now, there are two kinds of pressure. There's pressure, that's expectations that are internal. We put ourselves under this pressure. Like they say on the street, nobody sends you work. Now you put yourself under pressure that you want to build a house at 30.
Yeah.
You want to be a millionaire at 30.
Yeah.
That is your own
Doctor,
personal
we just lost a
pressure.
young boy, you know, who is up and coming and has this bright future. And there are conversation of, pressure, leading to the cause of the death of this. So there are stories like that, a lot of them.
Yeah, and then there's external pressure. Now that's pressure from parents, from dad and mom, and all the rest. Okay, now, however you twist it, pressure is pressure.
Yeah.
When it's little healthy, it's motivating. When it becomes excessive unhealthy, it is demotivating and actually makes people collapse and break down, like you said. So how do you cope with this pressure? 3 C's, like I said earlier. The first C is compassion. And in this case, compassion on yourself. Self-compassion. Permit me to be a bit more direct. We're talking about marriage. I can't marry myself. I do all I know to do. I look beautiful. I look great. I have a good job. I put myself out there in the open. I'm not proud. I'm not arrogant. A man has not come to marry me. Guy, I can't kill myself. No. Now marry, I no marry. I no kill person. So be gentle on yourself. Guy, be gentle on yourself. What's the alternative? Go hug a transformer, kill yourself, hurt yourself. Would that bring a man? No, it wouldn't. Same with the girl. I know it's tough, it's difficult, but learn to be gentle on yourself. Have self-compassion on yourself. Don't forget, there are no absolute timelines. We are running, it's like take your mind back to when you were in secondary school or go to the Olympics in a track and field event, the 400-meter dash or 200-meter dash. 8 lanes, each person on his own lane. This is your lane you're working on. So stay there and just remain there. At the right time, the right man will come. You have your life and you live your life. And let me say this. You may not like what I'm going to say next, but I'll say it all the same. In the unlikely event that you do not get married, what are you going to do? Kill yourself? And if you do without bringing a man, no. I know that will be sad, that will be painful if you don't get married at the end of the day, but it's not the end of the world. No, it's not. I know what I'm saying. It's not the end of the world. As tough, as hard as it is, it's not the end of the world. Can you still make a success of your career as a single man, as a single lady? I think so. Yes, I think so. Can you still care for yourself and enjoy your life as a single lady? Yes, I think so. Will society talk? Yes.
100%.
Can you stop society from talking? No. Why not let society keep talking? And be gentle, be kind, be compassionate on yourself. That's what I'm going to say. Now, with pressures, it is not written anywhere that you must build a house before you are 30, even before you are 40. No, it's not. So be gentle on yourself now. Have some compassion on yourself. It is not written anywhere that the goals you set out for the yourself at the beginning of this year, you must eat all the target. No, it's not written like that. Set micro goals. If you set macro goals last year and none of them came true,
break it down.
Break it down. Set micro goals this year and go after them one after the other and be gentle on yourself. The second C is community. Community. There's a saying that if you go alone, you will go fast, but if you go as a group, you will go far. Community. To the single lady, staying alone all by yourself in your own house may not help you much. Join a community. Go sip and paint. Come join Miriam. Go sip and paint. Join a community at work. Socialize. Interact with people. Join a community at church, at mosque, at work. Community. That way you're able to connect.
You know, some people feel like, oh, I'm introverted. I don't like people around me. And sometimes also this community thing, doctor, because you need money to go out. You need money to look good.
Yeah.
There's so many factors and people are trying their best.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Good. But then you can gradually integrate yourself into communities that are not expensive at the moment. They are not high maintenance. Find simple communities in the neighborhood. Connect with people. Community, your family is community. Your neighbor's workplace. Bond with people. It helps reduce the pressure on you. Oh yes, it helps reduce the pressure on you. And the last C is communicate. Yes, communicate. Some people are under a lot of intense and immense pressure from their family members, from their parents, and they bottle up all of these within themselves until one day they explode or they break down. Communicate. And there are 3 persons I would recommend you communicate with.
Talk to me.
Yeah. The first is communicate with yourself. Get a journal and write. Write out your frustrations, write out your pressures. Just communicate. Sip and paint. That is communication. You're communicating with yourself. Write. Keep a journal. Write your struggles. Communicate. That's the first person you can communicate with. The second person you can communicate with is with your higher power. For Christians, this is God, this is the Lord Jesus Christ. For Muslims, this is the Almighty Allah. Communicate with a higher power, a supreme being that will help you tremendously. Communicate your pressures, communicate your frustrations with Him. And finally, communicate with me. I'm your psychiatrist. I'm available. Communicate.
Yeah.
There are times the pressure becomes overwhelming. Now, I met people in the course of my practice who felt so overwhelmed with the pressures they faced, and they felt, look, what I feel like doing right now is just leaving this world. I mean, exiting this world, ending it all.
Doctor, there's so many people that have done it. The recent one is this bright young writer. He calls himself lazy writer.
I saw it.
I saw the video. I saw the notes he left on his Instagram. I tried to make so much sense. After I went through the comment section of his loved ones, people did not believe it. Doctor, this is real issue. People are going through it. And sometimes it happens to the most cheerful of them.
Absolutely.
You know, it happens to the most beautiful, the most handsome. And sometimes it just feels like you're doing life alone. I know if we keep talking about this, we probably will not leave here today. So I just want you to wrap up with this part. for everyone going through, life challenges, for everyone who feel the pressure is real and it's getting to them. You mentioned the part that the pressure could be motivating. Where it becomes terrible is when it's now shattering you apart, depressing you. How can one move past that? Now, you've mentioned that you can talk to yourself, you can talk to a higher power, or you can talk to an expert like you. At least the steps that one can take to pass through these stages for those who are already in it. And then there's also a thin line between this conversation and someone who is about to. Some people must have seen the signs, the warnings, and they are just few inches away from getting into this state. How can they bounce back?
Oh yes, I'll revert to the other three things I've shared, and I give you no 100% guarantees that when you try, especially the first two, you get excellent results. But what I would say is this: mental health struggles, especially when people become suicidal, thrives in secrecy. Is thrive the right word? No. Mental health struggles worsen amidst secrecy and seclusion. So I want to appeal to you, please come in the open. I am yet to come across anybody who deliberately, enjoyingly, and willfully wanted to harm themselves because they just for the fun of it. No, they were doing this because they felt pain and struggles within, and they were crying for help. Now, cry for help appropriately, and I can tell you, I've lost count of the number of people I personally have been able to help, or even psychiatrists in this country have been able to help. We've been able to snatch them from the mouth of defeat, snatch victory, so to speak, from the mouth of defeat, bring them back from the brink of suicide and self-destruction, and they are back enjoying. I remember a story I will never forget of a young lady who reached out to me one night that she had thoughts of suicide. She was really feeling very overwhelmed, and she wanted to go take some pills somewhere, overdose, and end it all. And then thankfully she reached out to me, and with help she's recovered so amazingly well that today she's located out of the country, she's married, and she's having an amazing life with her husband outside the shores of this country, free of the mental health struggles that she had then. And this is testament to the fact that no matter your mental health struggles, do not keep it to yourself. We are all human. We are all vulnerable to struggles like you do. Reach out, speak up. And when you speak up to an expert, you can get the needed help and you can bounce back. The things that seem extremely very difficult and hard and impossible, with help and community, you can find a way around it, bounce back into your own, begin to live life, begin to enjoy life, and begin to see your dreams come true, especially in this year 2026. If only you reach out and not keep this to yourself.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much. I mean, we have to leave now, and I trust this particular one has been able to reach out to every single person this is made for. I know there's going to be a lot of calls, a lot of questions, a lot of conversation after this, and I'm hoping that we get to do this one more time. Well, again, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Miriam. My pleasure today.
Okay, guys, this is where we draw the curtain today. I didn't want to put an end to this conversation, but of course we have to go. Let me know if you enjoyed this particular episode. If you have questions, you can always reach out to Dr. Abayomi via the number displayed on the screen. And don't forget, it's Keeping It Real with Miriam Usman, where we bring you real life conversation. We do this, of course, alongside experts and those who can make it easy for you to understand our topic of conversation. Until then, bye.